Good morning, Crypto Chaos. How's it going, guys? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope you got your coffee ready to go. Oh, it's a day. What a doozy of a day. We're just getting started. Easy coming out the gate with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Uzi. Thank you. Easy. Uzi. Easy Uzi. There you go. Got that brown water ready. And yeah, I got it, man. I got it as well. Thanks again, man, for supporting the Chaos this morning. Yes, good morning, Chaos Crew. Good morning, Chaos Crew. How's everyone feeling? Probably not the greatest, right? Probably not the greatest. We were up until, oh, I don't even know, guys. Past midnight, I know that. It was nuts. It was nuts last night. Nebulaner says, good morning, party people. I just lost in the sauce. And I lost in a good little profit on online slots. What the hell, Nabs? What the hell?
What are you, stupid?
Yes, you're a degenerate, he says. Yes, when moon. Not soon. Hopefully November. hopefully next week. Quentin says, yeah, looking at the Quai network, QUAI. What is that, like quantum AI or something like that? Okay. Might be I want to bring it up to Rob, potential new gem. We can take a look at the chat and the channel while we're waiting for the market to open. Maybe if we have time. I do have a lot of stuff I want to share with you guys, so I started a little early. Yes, stupid crypto again, Andy. I'm sorry, my man. I'm sorry. It's gonna be fine.
We're gonna win so much.
Guys, like I'm telling you guys, when you're in this market this long, these little dips and just nothing. They're nothing. Ari says, yes, good morning all. Yes, and this literally has been nothing compared to what we see in the past. Are you kidding me? Tiny Mouse says, good morning all, morning. Bitcoin better climb after last night, says Tiny. I don't know. We'll get into it. Good morning, Super Danny. Good morning, Super Danny in the house. Andy says, hitting that 50-day moving average, and let's pump in November. Yeah, we can take a look at charts and see what's going on with the, if we're still holding that bull trend line. We did fall to 108, though. And again, I said last night, we don't want to see us below 109. We'll check the trend. Maybe we're still holding some sort of bullish trend. Okay, good morning, Andy, Quint, Ari, Aline, Easy, Nebs, everyone in the chat. Good morning. Hi, let's get this show on the road. Let's do it. Yes, JPEG on the way out. I'll be listening on the drive. Yes, Danny, and good morning, everyone. Happy joy. Happy joy. Stupid fasting. This was yesterday. We waited all night for this thing to conclude, and we're gonna get into the details of this now. All right, so I do have a few updates on this. I did want to get out the gate for you guys who are just tuning in right now. Let's start there. All right, here we go.
We do have a trade truce. President Trump calls his meeting with China's President Xi truly great, with a host of market-friendly details. And big tech's AI ambitions are coming with a massive price tag. Meta, Microsoft, and Google together racked up $78 billion in CapEx in the last quarter alone. Plus, Jay Powell pushes back, telling investors they shouldn't assume there will be a cut next month. This hour, we get the decision also from the European Central Bank. In terms of the stocks that we're watching, there are a lot of very big movers today. Meta getting absolutely trounced. The stock down more than
10% in the futures. All right, let's keep going. I've got a lot to share with you guys before we get this show on. Here we go. Well, I think I got most of this.
Extend a tariff truce. Both countries will roll back export controls and reduce other trade barriers. President Trump spoke on Air Force One after his meeting with President Xi.
I thought it was an amazing meeting. He's a great leader of a very powerful, very strong country, China. And what can I say? It was an outstanding group of decisions, I think, that was made. A lot of decisions were made, too. There wasn't too much left out there. And we've come to conclusion on many very important points.
Bloomberg Washington correspondent Tyler Kendall has been traveling with the president. He joins us now on the ground in South Korea. So this meeting was a 12 out of 10, the president says. What did he achieve?
Soybeans.
Yeah, hey, Matt. Well, it's clear that both leaders have now eased the tensions going forward, but at the same time, it's become evident that those structural, fundamental issues still remain unresolved over the long term. Now, China is going to get a reduction in tariffs immediately, as President Trump says that he is going to cut that 20% tariff tied to fentanyl in half in exchange for what he says are pledges from the Chinese president to curb those so-called precursor chemicals that go into making the drugs. Now, other than that, it really feels like a lot that was on the table is a pullback of the escalation that we've seen in recent weeks, right? We got confirmation that China is going to delay those newly unveiled export curbs related to critical and rare earth minerals and will resume purchases of U.S. soybeans. The Treasury Secretary confirming this morning that China is on track to purchase 12 million tons of soybeans, which actually is in line with many analysts' forecasts for the rest of the harvest season. Now, on the U.S. side, the U.S. is no longer going to impose fees on Chinese ships that are docked at U.S. ports. That was considered to be a key concession that Beijing wanted to see. And the U.S. is also going to pause a rule that would have expanded restrictions on some blacklisted Chinese entities and firms. Now, going forward here, though, Matt, our own analysts at Bloomberg Economics say that while, of course, this is a welcome easing in tension, it does appear to only be buying both sides time to really strengthen their hand ahead of what is expected to be long-term competition for supremacy between the two countries.
All right, Tyler.
All right, so yeah, that was the outcome from that meeting. Didn't seem like the greatest. Didn't feel like a 12 out of 10. At least the two countries are talking. I guess that's a big takeaway. But it doesn't seem like it's it doesn't seem like it's a $130,000 Bitcoin good kind of meeting. It looks like $108,000 meeting. And that's exactly what we got. Bitcoin holding right now, $108,000 Bitcoin. Yeah, we did not get our my hopeful reversal of this yin yang trade. They did not buy the dip in the foreign market. It looked like they were about to in the before we headed out around midnight. But after about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I guess in Japan, Asia, dumped the market. So this is where we are right now on a Thursday. Happy Thursday, guys. Happy Thursday. But yeah, this is where we're sitting at 108,300 before the market opened in about 3 minutes. We're still kind of on a bull trend. We dipped down a little farther than I would have liked to do. Yeah, if we adjust it without the wicks, it's still kind of alive. We're still in our channel, which is good. We haven't broke out of our channel. Again, we've been in this damn thing pretty much the entire week. Last 2 weeks actually, since the 16th, 17th of the month. So, yeah, we're still in the same spot. Pretty much still in the same spot. We need to get, I guess we need to break down under 107.5. 107.5 still the biggest level of support we have left, and it's being honored pretty much right on top of it. Maybe a little higher. It's 108 flat now. 107.5 is right about here, and that's of course a lot of past levels we've had touched in the past. You can see all the way back here to what is this, August, September, the end of September, and you get the idea. If you go back even further on the 4 hour. Yeah, we have a lot of touches there, and not only bottoms but also tops, right? So we have both a lot of resistance history and support history at 107.5. So that's the one level we want to try to keep this morning. I mean, that's going to be pretty much the make or break for our channel. If we do lose that, it's possible we go back down, retest 105. If we lose 105, 103, and again, we do the spiral, right? What we've been talking about here on the channel for like the last 3 weeks. The idea, of course, is 107, 105, and 103. 103 then leads to about $100,000 breakdown to 97K. And there's a lot of buy orders below that now. Let's take a look at the open order books before we got about a minute left to do so, guys. So we gotta hurry. Before the open bell. Okay, of course, jumping over here to Kimba the White Snow Lion. Of course, don't pay for something, get for free, guys. Stupid. Of course, I like the anime reference on my channel. Kimba the White Snow Lion, for those who know. Yes, and we have Bitcoin still holding range bound like I've been talking about. In this 107, 108 to 115 price action. Where the hell is my snip? Okay, I'm going to zoom in real quick and show you what I'm talking about. Obviously, we talked about this at great length over the last month. Okay, so yeah, these are the key levels we have to hold. Obviously, I just talked about those. I'm still worried about this one here, which started developing last week. And I've been shouting from the rooftop since Friday about that. This one kind of concerns me because it is under 90,000, and it kind of made me start to think that we could be starting to sell off earlier than January or earlier than December, just to try to spook the market, final shakeout into next year's continuing business cycle, providing everything goes hunky-dory. And we do, of course, get the massive shakeout for all the weak hands, all the lettuce hands, all the paper hands, all the people want to care about all this shit, right? Get those people out. And of course, the institutions like BlackRock and everyone else will, and countries, everything else will be able to buy it on the cheap. And that's what I've been talking about all year, basically, since the summer. Okay, guys. So again, this kind of plays into that narrative. I hope it doesn't play out that way, because we haven't seen anything in 2025. In the post-halving year, this will be the first post-halving year that the traditional market has actually pretty much destroyed crypto. That'd be insane. But again, if this cycle goes into next year, that's going to be a different story. All right, guys, we got to go over to, the market fell open.
Down at the NASDAQ, you have Solstice ringing the opening bell. Look, Mark Cudmore had a great piece out today. Stop kidding yourself. Nothing else matters beyond AI. So let's take a look at those stocks right now. The big mega cap tech stocks. Meta Platforms in the cash trade down almost 12%. So Mark Zuckerberg coming out and saying, no matter how much I spend, it's never enough. And next year is going to be more. Investors are a little bit concerned about that, obviously. Microsoft down just 2%. Amy Hood, the CFO at Microsoft, also saying, I can't get enough supply. We have to spend more. Alphabet shares are up right now because more people are using Google Gemini. I think 44% more in the last 3 months alone. So it's really the winner in terms of momentum. Of course, it hasn't eclipsed ChatGPT yet, but they're also growing the cloud in a massive way, like 34% in terms of cloud revenue. Apple, after the bell, we're going to get the results there, and we're all waiting with bated breath. Right now, it's up 1 1/3%. For more on the tech picture, we're joined by Bloomberg tech co-host Ed Ludlow. And Ed, we were talking with Caroline Hyde about how spending just continues to ramp up, and although cloud revenue rises, it's just not a commensurate gain.
Yeah, but look at the number that's green on your screen, right? Alphabet. So what we got from all of the names was capital expenditures figures. In the brinkmanship between Wall Street's nervousness on seeing a return on the capex and the company's commitment saying this is our capex, only Alphabet gave us any kind of further number, and that is that they said that the revenues from products directly tied to the investments in generative AI were up 200% from a year earlier. Otherwise, the investors don't have anything to model for, right, on what the return is coming out the other side.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And for Facebook, it's especially difficult because, Caroline Hyde was just telling me that they apparently have an AI app. I didn't realize that. I use, obviously, ChatGPT. I use Google Gemini. But there's no single revenue line item at Facebook that you could point to and say, see, it's working.
Correct, and Meta didn't formally guide us on that for the next fiscal year. They just indicated that on the capital expenditures side, it would be notably higher than the $72 billion at the top end for this fiscal year. Meta's decline of 12%, by the way, puts it on track for its biggest drop since the end of 2022 on a closing basis. So, this is
so,
severe,
of course, all the analysts are going to be talking about Meta all morning because, of course, they're down almost 12% on the day. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Let's go over to CNBC, see what they're talking about. Catch up in the chat real quick. Damn, we're down today. Yes, we're down today, Tiny. It's gonna be a red day, it looks like. Max Payne. Guys, we do have options expiring tomorrow. And guess what? That's actually gonna happen tonight when we roll that over into around midnight. I think it happens here in the United States around 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I always forget every Friday. Okay. Markets react to a Mag 7 earnings.
By the way, has not reported earnings. It will. We are getting a sense, though, as to how the cloud business is doing for both Azure, that's Microsoft's cloud business, and Google Cloud, both of which had, and I'll tell you the numbers in just a second, but significant. Microsoft Cloud revenue was $49 billion
Right. I think Amazon
for the
actually
quarter, up 26%.
This might be Jassy's night to shine in terms of how much he's spending. Although you got to remember that beautiful Microsoft conference call when it came to Azure, taking share. That's what they said. The share would be taken not from Google because their numbers are ready. It would be taken from.
All right. We're still talking about big tech companies. 108,300 on Bitcoin right now after the market open. Let's take a look at Fox Business real quick. And yeah, maybe we'll be jumping into the crypto news and doom scrolling earlier today. We still have to get to the headlines, of course, on Fox and CNBC.
Like a wartime CEO. In order to win the AI battle, he needs to spend money, and that he is doing.
Meta.
If you look at Meta.
Everyone, of course, talking about the big dip on Meta this morning. All right, guys, we got some news rolling out by CNBC. Meta, of course, still is #1 in the spotlight. But, of course, biggest takeaways from Trump-Xi's meeting on the Truth covers what is still unclear. Everything. We don't know where they're going to land on trade or TikTok. What's going on with TikTok? Well, let's dive into this. China's agreed to pause the 1-year sweeping export controls on rare earths announced on August 9th. October 9th that it touched off the dispute. My gosh. The U.S. cut tariffs on China related to fentanyl to 10% to 20% previously. That reduces the overall rate on Chinese goods around 47%. It is unclear whether the truce will have any impact on NVIDIA exporting chips or on TikTok. Yeah. So yeah, still a lot of, I guess, fog in war. Okay, Trump cuts fentanyl, rare earth stocks rally as China delays export controls. It's just, again, I feel like we're just buying time, and that's all this is, just trying to get through the year. 27-year-old turned his magic hobby into a career. What the hell is that doing on CNBC's front page? Stocks fall, led by Meta, and Microsoft declines. They're, of course, still talking about Powell. There's Thursday's biggest analyst calls: NVIDIA, Microsoft, Meta, Boeing, Chipotle, Coinbase, and more. Coinbase on the earnings calls today as well. Russia on guard after Trump's call to resume nuclear weapons testing, which is exactly what got the press kicked out last night. If you guys were with us last night, we were up until like midnight or later watching, of course, the meeting with President Xi. And of course, the press got kicked out as soon as they asked the question, what's going on with nuclear testing in America right now. Trump said he had instructed the Department of War to resume nuclear testing after more than a 30-year pause. The Kremlin denied it had to test any nuclear weapons amid a moratorium on nuclear war weapons testing. Russia would act accordingly if the United States went ahead with its plans, the Kremlin said. President Donald Trump's call for the U.S. to resume nuclear testing after more than 30-year pause has caught Russia's attention with the Kremlin warning on Thursday that it would act accordingly if Cold War era moratorium on nuclear weapons testing was broken. Ahead of the high-profile talks with China's President Xi Jinping in Asia on Thursday, Trump said that he is instructed the Pentagon rebranded as the Department of War, yes, to resume nuclear testing. The United States has more nuclear weapons than any other country. That's not true. Russia is second, says, I guess, Trump. That's not true. Russia has the #1 amount. I think they have like 5,000 nukes. We have like 3, I think. And China is a distant third, which I don't think is true either. But anyway, I'm going to look away for a minute here. But we'll be even within 5 years because no other country is testing programs. I have instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis. That process will begin immediately, Trump said on Truth's social post, I guess yesterday, or technically today. Earlier on Thursday, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov was asked the reporters on his reaction to Trump's comments on resuming nuclear tests. Yeah, basically told everyone to get out. That was during the meeting. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't want to get into spending too much time on this. All right, what else we have? Restaurant brands earnings top estimates fueled by Tim Hortons. Really? Like, really? Who the hell is buying Tim Hortons? That's what I want to know. That's crazy.
I'd buy that for $1.
I mean, there's some, I guess, north of me, I guess. Alphabet is soaring after its latest earnings report. What will Wall Street be saying? Powell says AI is different from dot-com bubble and that it will be a major source of economic growth. Yeah, but statements from other Fed governors like Waller did, of course, raise concerns last week when Waller said that AI, he was afraid that AI, the decline of jobs from AI was going to take 5 or more years to fulfill new jobs for those positions. Of course, AI and robotics. Yeah, so I don't know, pal. I don't know if I agree with that. How the Fed's decision to lower interest rates could, when it could widen the generational wealth gap. Even further than it already is. Of course, I refer to the middle class now as upper poor, because now, of course, the top 10% of the United States economy, our net worth users are participating in more than 50% of the economy. So it's all just propped up by the top 10% right now. Coffee delivery is now a $1 billion business for Starbucks. Ridiculous. Chipotle stock plunges as chain lowers sales forecast and says younger diners are cutting back. Can't afford it. We can't afford it.
Stupid.
All right, moving on. All right, so that's pretty much all the lineup we have in CNBC today. It's going to be a slow news day, guys. I got the feeling. I can feel it in the air. Let's see what we got to have to rip off that crypto Band-Aid for the news here in about 15-20 minutes. Still till 10 a.m. We're going to get in there early, I think, today. Okay, so let's see what we got with Fox Business. The news headlines. Here we go. It's taking a minute today. There we go. Trump, he's ready to kiss him there. I don't know.
What are you, stupid?
Okay, Trump bags agreement for China to buy millions of tons of American exports, of course, soybeans. Trump rakes in praise after a bigger picture talks with China's Xi. Of course, this is very, very, very pro-Trump. We're on Fox Business now. Trump tariffs spark exodus of Canadian homeowners from Sunshine State, Florida. Department of Transportation revokes approval of 13 Mexican airline routes in the U.S. Republicans warn Trump beef import plan risks hurting U.S. cattle producers. Candy bars recalled days before Halloween over life-threatening risk. Here we go. We're going to be handing out candy that is going to poison our youth. Oh, God. I guess we could jump into that real quick. Rosie O'Donnell, God. Why the hell? I heard her daughter's in the news for some reason. We covered that in the normie searches yesterday. Wow, HHS announces ban on synthetic food dyes. Yeah, that's still going on. Ann Arbor, Michigan based company said that the peanut butter Crush full-size bars, Crush? Never even heard of that. It's a bar, Crush? I guess are tainted in some way. Oh God, that looks terrible. I guess it's just toffee, like peanut butter toffee, maybe. I don't know what the hell that is. This thing, like peanut butter brittle. I don't know. It looks nasty. Okay, yeah, may contain undeclared peanuts. Okay. According to a Monday announcement from Food and Drug Administration, the affected products were distributed to retailers in Michigan, New York, and the FDA said, yeah, do not buy this bar, I guess. All right, okay. All right, so yeah, that's what's going on. I wouldn't say they're popular. Oh my God, that's a bit of an understatement. Overstatement. Okay, yeah, Democrats revolt over Trump's admin's $20 billion aid plan, citing U.S. farm crisis. Eli Lilly partners with Walmart to sell weight loss drug directly to patients. Of course, yeah, that's going to be a very, very strong clientele there at Walmart. I have to.
What are you, stupid?
I tell you, every time, I couldn't tell you how many times I tail people with handicap stickers or handicap plates, and I know, like, as soon as I see that plate and I'm heading towards a Walmart or a McDonald's that they're about to turn to either one of those locations. All right, rate hikes and rage tweets tracking Trump's vendetta against Powell. Walmart reveals dates from Black Friday deals, Cyber Monday sale. Federal judges to discuss Anti-Semitism, federal. I'm just not feeling any of this news today, guys. Here we go. This one's decent. AI truck system matches top human drivers in massive safety showdown with perfect scores. It's coming, guys. It's coming. I say this every single day. These jobs are going to take ours, and it's only a matter of time. I mean, less than 5 years now. My God.
All right, next time you're driving down the road, keep an eye out. That big rig next to you might not have a driver. I'm Crypto Cyber Guy. Follow me at cyberguy.com and see why hundreds of thousands of people get my newsletter for free. Well, my friend Jessica Holmes was the traffic reporter when I worked in local news in Los Angeles.
Oh my God, I don't want your whole life story.
I'm next to between Dallas and Houston with plans to expand to New Mexico and Arizona by the end of the year. That's right, while we're all going about our daily lives, these high-tech haulers quietly hit the roadways in the Lone Star State, cruising at speeds between
for the holiday
75
season,
and 75 miles an hour. Now, you might be wondering, is this safe? I'm wondering. Well, Aurora says absolutely yes. Just before the launch, they dropped their 2025 driverless safety report. It is packed with details on everything they'd want you to know about these driverless semi-trucks. According to their safety report, Aurora is using a safety, case-based approach adapted from industries just like aviation and nuclear to inform, guide, and determine that their technology is acceptably safe to operate on public roads. Now, they drill into the details on risk management, redundancies, cybersecurity, and the remote assistance stuff. They're calling it the most transparent safety report ever released ahead of driverless launches. But not everyone's convinced. The Owner-Operator Independent Drivers Association says that Aurora's safety claims feel more like marketing than real assurance. They're skeptical because the report leans heavily on simulation data and supervised testing without much actual real-world proof. And let's be honest, no simulation can fully predict what happens out on the open road. What do you think? Ready for all this, or does it freak you out a little bit, kind of like it does me?
It doesn't freak me out. I've been calling for this for freaking years. All right, and of course, this just comes off the back of UPS laying off 48,000 people. I guess by next year. I think that's their plan. And I said that too when UPS drivers got that first big push up to an average of what they raised their payroll. Paying their salaried workers like $120,000 for their drivers just a few years ago, and I'm like, it's only to buy them time so they can get this technology, of course, ready to go. And it's exactly what's happening. Exactly what's happening. All right. So yeah, looking like we're seeing a little bit of a rebound right now. We got down to 107,300. Damn, on Bitcoin. See if this could last. I'll take a look at the chart and see what we got going on. Again, I just told you guys we don't want to lose this channel, and we might lose it today. We just touched near the bottom. Again, those key levels I mentioned earlier, I drew the line on 107,500. Of course, it was, it was honored as usual. Again, everyone's looking at the same charts, guys. It's all psychology, right? Basically, most of it. I wouldn't say all of it, but primarily monkey see, monkey do technology when we look at the charts. And yeah, so it did honor that that line. I did just drop in there right before the live. Before we just jump back over here. We just have to hold this here and not lose this channel. If we do lose this, guys, we're going to see some pain. Like Tiny Mouse said in the chat earlier, max pain. No, easy. Max pain. Easy says also the 3-day chart looks like we're going to get the 50 EMA for the next move. Historically range 18 to 30 days before we make a move. Only time will tell. Easy said also that just as of last night, Polymarket suggests a 98% chance of Andy versus Spence on Otaku's Live. When? Come on, guys. Let's get this. Let's make this happen.
When will then be now? Soon.
It's definitely been a community favorite to have those two on YouTube. I would love to see the old man's bicker on YouTube. I would definitely let them just take the reins and just run with the channel one night. That'd be fun. Tiny Mouse says, it used to be if you made over 35,000, you were technically in the 1%. When? Damn. When, Tiny? When was that? Like the 60s? Tiny Mouse said, just do razor blades and apples. Like a normal person. Yeah, that's of course a classic one to get those kids. Oh my god. Happy, guys, again guys, happy Halloween, guys. Tomorrow is Halloween. Today is the 30th, man. Yeah, I'm going to definitely be in costume tonight again. Cliff says, yeah, the robots are here. The future is no longer sci-fi. 100%, Cliff. 100%. We're living in the now. Sci-fi is now. Robot cars independently tested. Yes, easy. What's going to happen when there are driverless trucks trafficking drugs? Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out, won't we? It's coming soon, and yeah, we're going to probably get RoboCop going, too, while we're at it. All right. Okay. I would imagine there's going to be some sort of 3D scans of all these truck lanes and everything else. I don't know. All these new sorts of, you know, I don't know, man. It's gonna. I know we have, like, all these different types of scans we can do now. We can basically see through walls and everything, so I don't know. I'll have to wait and see how that all works out. Okay, so 107,800, Bitcoin climbing a little bit, at least respecting that here in the short term. But we'll have to wait and see how this goes. Everything else is going to be probably in a sea of red. Let's take a look at the metrics. Let's do one more run through TradFi after that, and then crypto news. Maybe 5 minutes early. Maybe 5 minutes earlier than we normally do, because it's a little slow on the news front today. All right, guys, let's take a look at the overall sentiment of the market. It's probably not good. Fear and greed index right now sitting in fear for the stock market, down about 4 or 5 points from yesterday. We did flip back to neutral yesterday, and the stock market now sitting in fear, 43. And then, of course, we are our space that doesn't sleep sitting at 34 in fear. That's pretty yeah, I feel it. That's pretty accurate. All right, let's see what else we have here in the crypto bubbles and the Dixie sitting at 99.5. Did we touch 100? Please, God, no. We got close. We got to 0.7272. That was yeah, that was today, this morning. I guess what the top we had yesterday, wasn't it? 99. No, we didn't get quite there yesterday. So that's the highest we've seen in the last month or so. But that was yesterday. No, that was today. That was today. All right, so that's on the Dixie here. Let's take a look at overall crypto market cap, which is not looking good when I looked at it this morning. Market cap still falling, down to 3.64 trillion from a high yesterday of 3.75. And last night, if you guys caught, of course, the live with us last night, we were covering President Xi Jinping and on Trump's meeting. We did rally during that meeting. We went up to 3.75, and now we're down about $100 billion. $100 billion. Yes.
What are you, stupid?
Yes. So that's total market cap right there. Bitcoin's still sitting around 108. Ethereum a little lower now. We did lose 4,000 on Ethereum, 3,800. It's almost like those two are in tandem now, between 100,000 and you know, some decimal points, right? So every time we're at 108, we're basically testing 3,800, and every time we're at 120, we're testing like 4,200. It's kind of weird. I've noticed that over the past few weeks. Tether still holding $883 billion in market cap. All that money sitting on the sidelines. Yeah, it just continues to grow. BNB, $150 billion, flipped XRP yet again. So we are starting to see some more shakeups here. XRP's market cap now down, what is that, like $10 billion, $7 billion, something like that, since yesterday, the highs of this week. And that's pretty much it. The only thing that's really moving here. Dogecoin's still ahead of Tron, nothing new there. Cardano at number 10. And yeah, Hyperliquid above Chainlink. Yeah, pretty much all the same stuff we've covered before. All right. Let's get into crypto bubbles real quick, and then do one run through TradFi news, into crypto news. Okay, so we're down about 0.5% this morning. Everyone's, of course, just babies. They're all babies.
What are you, stupid?
Yes. That's what we deal with here. So right here on the hour, everything's starting to try to go green, but we're still in a sea of red on the day. We're down 5 points on the day now. 5 points on the day. And yeah, we're down 8% on render. What's this? Is that Rocket? Plasma. It's Plasma. I always get XPL and Rocket Pool or whatever mixed up. SWI down 7% on the day. Damn, I wish I had some dry powder today. Damn.
I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah, that'd be my top pick for the day, just on the top 100 on the day. Solana right there down 7% as well. Again, these are of course the top 100 assets, the biggest movers to the downside that we see here. Let's take a look at the week, see what's still down the week. Still kind of mostly up on the week. Only 5 or 6% down on average on the lows. We got on the monthly here. What is going on with my? All my headsets are dead now. Like they're all dying. All right, I just gotta swap that out. Make sure that's plugged in when I'm done the live. Yeah. So where were we on the month? Yeah, we're looking for bigger drops on the month, bigger pullbacks here. Still only about 30% on most coins. Some of these, of course, not even near down for 30%. My top picks from yesterday are pretty much going to remain the same today. Looks like Say is still down 30%. Render is still down 30%. And there's not too many other big takeaways other than some of these newer tokens that Avalanche is still down 35%. So my big picks yesterday were AVAX and Say on the monthly, and I'm still in the same spot on the top 100. All right, moving on to the top 200 here. Doing the same thing over here on the day. We got bigger pullbacks here. Ooh, Wormhole down juicy 10% on the day. Let's go.
I'd buy that for $1.
All right, so yeah, that'd be probably my top pick on the day there. A lot of coins are down closer to that, but not quite 10% though. We do have some of these other coins like with that Chain Opera AI. That's still a newer project, down 20%. Still trying to find its bottom, as I keep saying. Most of these newer coins are still trying to find their bottoms from their launches. So be careful, guys. On the week, what else we have here? Wormhole's only down 11% on the week, but there's honestly not that much of a sea of red on the week. Zora's down 15%. If you guys like Zora, still not big enough, man. I want to see some 20s, 30s on the week. Give me something big, something huge, something juicy. Let's go back to the month. We're looking for the 30s, 40s here at least, minimum. Wormhole's down 35%. I mean, this is my pick all day long in every single metric. In time frame, MYX, AIOZ, not feeling any of the other ones that are even close to that. I'm just going to pick that. And I've been shouting Jido too. I don't even hold this. Never have actually held it. I've just been following the narratives with this. I think it's found its bottom like most of these other projects and still down a decent amount. And we already know that there's going to be some sort of use case for this in the banks, the Fed, the SEC, or the likes of the government in some sort of way, shape, or form, because they've had, of course, representatives at the conference. All right, guys. So yeah, top 2 picks on the top 200, Jido and Wormhole, and the top 2 on top 100 and Avalanche and what was the other one? Say, yes. Top big movers to the downside. DC opportunities of possibly a lifetime, possible the last ones we'll see this year. I don't know. You just never know. Be safe, guys. Don't do anything stupid.
What are you, stupid?
All right, moving on back to TradFi news real quick. Let's see if we got anything else. Christine Lagarde. Oh, God, speaking today. Oh, God, I need more coffee. I need more coffee for this shit.
Indicators of underlying
right
inflation remain consistent with our 2% medium-term target. While firms' profits are recovering, labor costs are set to moderate further owing to rising productivity and an easing in wage growth. Forward-looking indicators, such as the ECB's wage tracker and surveys on wage expectations, point to slower wage growth over the remainder of the year and the first half of 2026. Most measures of longer-term inflation expectations continue to stand at around 2%, supporting the stabilization of inflation around our target. Looking at risks now. The EU-US trade deal reached over the summer, the recently announced ceasefire in the Middle East, and today's announcement of progress in the US-China trade negotiations.
For Trump to have been, you're never too young to learn AI. That's why he's urging the government for school kids as young as 6 to be taught how to use it.
Within this system, from first grade, they all start with
what happened? Why are they doing this?
play-
Bloomberg, this is like Bloomberg is really bad about this now. They keep sending everyone to break. Ah, Jesus. EU, central bank. All right, see what we got. Governor press conference. Here we go. Let me get back to it. I'm making coffee, damn it.
Private investment.
I'll be right back.
Sentiment could also be lifted and activity spurred if the remaining geopolitical tensions diminished, or if the remaining trade disputes were resolved faster than expected. The outlook for inflation continues to be more uncertain than usual on account of the still volatile global trade policy environment. A stronger euro could bring down inflation further than expected. In addition, inflation could turn out to be lower if higher tariffs lead to lower demand for euro area exports and induce countries with overcapacity to further increase their exports to the euro area. An increase in volatility and risk aversion in financial markets could weigh on domestic demand and thereby also lower inflation. By contrast, inflation could turn out to be higher if a fragmentation of global supply chains pushed up import prices, curtailed the supply of critical raw materials, and added to capacity constraints in the domestic economy. A boost in defense and infrastructure spending could also raise inflation over the medium term. Extreme weather events and the unfolding climate and nature crisis, more broadly, could drive up food prices by more than expected. Turning to financial and monetary conditions, since our last meeting, market rates have remained broadly unchanged. Our past interest rate cuts have continued to reduce bank lending rates for firms, which average 3.5% in August. Meanwhile, the cost of issuing market-based debt remained at 3.5% in August, as the longer-term yields on which such debt is priced have been relatively stable. The annual growth rate of bank lending to firms edged down to 2.9% in September from 3% in August. At the same time, corporate bond issuance slowed to 3.3% on a yearly basis. According to our latest bank lending survey for the euro area, credit standards for business loans tightened moderately in the third quarter, as banks became more concerned about the risks faced by their customers. Firms' demand for credit picked up slightly. The average interest rate on new mortgages has barely changed since the start of the year and stood at 3.3% in August. Growth in mortgage lending ticked up to 2.6% in September from 2.5% in August on the back of a further increase in demand and unchanged credit standards in the third quarter. Growth in broad money, as measured by M3, slowed to 2.8% in September, down from 2.9% over the first half of in August, and an average of 3.8% over the first half of the year. So, in conclusion, the Governing Council today decided to keep the three key ECB interest rates unchanged. We are determined to ensure that inflation stabilizes at our 2% target in the medium term. We will follow a data-dependent and
We're breaking.
meeting-by-meeting approach to determining the appropriate monetary policy stance. All
right.
As the dynamics of underlying inflation and the strength of monetary policy transmission. And we are not pre-committing to a particular rate path. In any case, we stand ready to adjust all of our instruments within our mandate to ensure that inflation stabilizes sustainably at our medium-term target and to preserve the smooth functioning of monetary policy transmission. We are now ready to take your questions.
Yeah, and this is why I wanted to listen, guys, because I want to see if we get better questions for Christine Lagarde than we did for Powell.
President Lagarde, thank you very much for taking my questions. First question would be, of course, on your famous mantra that you're in a good place right now when it comes to the policy stance. So given that private economic activity in your area is not really great, would you say that...
It's not really what?
Not really great. I mean, if you deduct what comes from the fiscal space, then the economic picture doesn't look so great. So would you say that your policy stance is in a right space if that private economic activity is not picking up? Second question would be on AI and the ramification for the labor market. We've heard from from the Fed President Jerome Powell that he looks very carefully at what AI does to the US labor market. It probably takes a while until this hits here as well, your area, but what do you think, and do you have discussion on that topic? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your two questions. Your first question, are we in a good place? I would observe that thanks to the hospitality of Banca d'Italia, we are in a magnificent place, okay? From a monetary policy point of view, we are in a good place. Is it a fixed good place? No, but we will do whatever is needed to make sure that we stay in a good place. And I would observe that with growth of 0.2% for Q3, which is a tad more than what was expected by the consensus, and including Ireland, a little more than what we had expected, not by much, I would not complain too much about growth at this point in time. We can do better. We hope it's better. I observe that there is quite a bit of investment underlying this number, certainly in respect of France, which publishes breakdown. So turning to your other question, which has to do with artificial intelligence, what we are hearing from the corporate telephone surveys in particular that we conduct on a regular basis is that corporate is really moving ahead with investment. And the transition to a more digital world is obviously on their mind, and it's also drawing on the investment that they are committing now. So this is a process, and the impact it will have on labor will probably take time, and we will be very attentive to those developments. There will be job creation, there will be job destruction. How exactly that will impact our economies, depending on the sectors, depending on the classes of age, depending on the training, depending on the educational background of workforce in Europe, which is generally, which tends to be quite high, I think is to be seen, but we will be attentive to those developments. Thank you.
The question goes to Jana Rando of Bloomberg. Jana, please.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. I have a question following up on your comment that we are in a good but yet not yet or not fixed place on policy. You have held rates 3 times now, and I am wondering if you are or would be confident to say that a rate cut is as likely as a rate hike sometime in the future. And my second question is about risks. You listed quite a few upside and downside risks for both growth and inflation, but I noticed that you didn't speak about a balance. So I'm very interested in hearing your thoughts on whether at least the risks for growth are broadly balanced or more balanced than they used to be, and on inflation as well, of course. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for these 2 questions. You know, I have said that we are in a good place. I continue to say that we are in a good place. And I repeat that we will take the necessary measures and steps on the basis of data, meeting by meeting, to make sure that we stay in a good place. On your second question, which has to do with the, and I also want to remind you that we have very clearly defined our objective. And that objective is, because you asked me the question about symmetry, our target is symmetric 2% medium term. And we will abide by that objective that we have discussed extensively in 21, reiterated in our 21 strategy review, and reiterated again in 25 when we took stock of our strategy implementation and the stock taking exercise. On the risk, you are right, because when you go to the section of our monetary policy statement, we list as exhaustively and yet as principally as is possible the number of risks on the downside and on the upside. But what is a little bit different this time around is that our paragraph on risk assessment begins with indicating some of the risks which have faded or have been alleviated in the last few weeks. And it starts with, and the impact that it has had in particular. So we start with the EU-US trade deal reached over the summer. We follow with the recently announced ceasefire in the Middle East, and we continue with the announcement today, this morning actually, of progress in the US-China trade negotiations. And we continue with these components have mitigated some of the downside risk to economic growth. So if you remember last time in September, I said that the risk to growth was more balanced and the range had narrowed. I think this time around we acknowledge that some of the downside risk to growth have abated, and we specifically mentioned these three. I would not necessarily draw the same conclusion for inflation. I think on that front it's a more balanced picture that we paint, and we go through the upside and the downside risk to inflation, and I would suggest that we remain attentive to the occurrence or the risk of occurrence of any of these risks that can weigh on our inflation. Thank you.
And the next question goes to Francesco Canepa of Reuters. Francesco, please.
So I'm just following up on Jana's question. So what you just said about downside risks to growth abating would suggest that perhaps there was a discussion about changing the balance of risks to say that the risks have perhaps turned to the upside. Was there any such discussion, and why did you not kind of follow through on what you just said in terms of the downside risks to growth abating, or some of them at least? Well, the second question perhaps to Governor Panetta about Italian banks. Italian banks are making great use of state guarantees when they extend loans. This has also helped them make relatively large profits, and the government sometimes decides to take some of those profits with one-off levies. So what are the implications for financial stability and for public finances of this merry-go-round sort of scheme where the government guarantees loans, but then it takes a stake in the profits? Thank you very much.
So I'll address your first question. You remember that last time we referred neither to downside nor to upside, but we said that the balance of risks had, or the range of risks had narrowed. And once you've said that, and you said that it is more balanced than it was, you cannot repeat ad nauseum that it is more balanced and more balanced each and every time, which is the reason why we chose to list specifically risk to the downside, risk to the upside, and we acknowledge in the first part of that risk section concerning activity that some of the downside risks that we had with us for quite a while had abated. And I think there was some discussion, as always, on the one hand, on the other hand, some see a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that, but I think we were all in agreement on that identification of risk with a specific listing of those risks. We are in a period of still great uncertainty, and many of those risks are resulting from policies and implementation of policies. So I think that's the best that I can give you in terms of explaining to you why we do not draw a line on, it is one way or the other, and prefer to list those risks carefully.
Thank you for your questions. You are absolutely right. Italian banks are highly profitable. Their profitability conditions have improved significantly in the last few years, and this was due to many factors. I would say that the main one is the restructuring of the banking system which took place over the last 10 years after the financial crisis. You know that Italy went through a complicated period in the mid-2010s, but the banks that resulted from that phase are highly profitable, much more capitalized, and much more efficient. So their improvement is due to many factors, not just to the support that they got from the government, as many other banks in Europe. On the impact, no, it will not have any financial stability implications. We will not have financial instability because of the tax. The banks are highly profitable, and the tax is a limited percentage of their profits. On the specific characteristics of the tax, I will comment when I will see the final text of the legislation.
And now a question to Filippo Santelli of La Repubblica here in the second row.
Thanks for taking my question. I have two questions on the digital euro. The first to President Lagarde. One of the objections of the criticism towards the project, which by the way was raised also by the rapporteur of the regulation in the European Parliament, is that the digital euro is a solution in search of a problem. And its objective might be better realized through market-led solution and maybe helped by a smarter regulation. How do you respond to that criticism? And the second one to Governor Panetta, banks around Europe, including Italian banks, have warned about the costs of adopting the digital euro, even suggesting that their costs could be higher than ECB estimates, as it's sometimes the case with public infrastructures. Is the euro system considered an option to lower those costs, and are you afraid banks might pass down those costs to the consumers? Thanks.
Thank you very much for your question. For me, as president of the ECB, I regard money as a public good. Money is a public good, full stop. And that public good, for many, many decades, has been built around central bank money, which is the anchor on which commercial money, which is created by banks, prospers and develops. But the anchor is critically important in order to make sure that money remains a public good. So in our mind, and certainly in my mind, central bank money has to remain an active part of the system that people can actually trust. If you think of digital euro, it's the digital form of a banknote. People need to have their banknote. Maybe in 10 years' time, there will be fewer of those banknotes in circulation, but they will still need to have the certainty that a euro is a euro is a euro, just like a rose is a rose is a rose. And for me, it is our mission to make sure that money remains that public good that is available to our compatriots. And we are working for the Europeans in that respect. When I hear that it's a project in search of a cause, I think that money as a public good, the sovereignty of the European authorities at large over their currency and the way in which money stands, this is not a project in search of a cause. It embodies the capacity of Europe to defend itself and to transact with a currency that is its own. There are many other reasons why the digital euro is perfectly legitimate, valid, and will be cheaper, user-friendly, good for transaction throughout Europe and not just in various countries on a national basis. But the key points for me is money is a public good, central banks are the custodian of that public good, and central money issued by central banks has to have its digital form because we're moving into a different era where not everybody will want necessarily to have banknotes. Thank you.
Well, you did not ask me, but I will, before I answer your question, I want to say that I strongly agree with what the President just said. We need public money for the stability of the financial system. So the President is, as always, absolutely right. On the costs, I think it would be unwise to discuss costs before discussing the benefits. Currently, euro area banks only represent 1/3 of total activity on digital payments in the euro area. 2/3 of digital payments in the euro area are intermediated by non-European companies, both for digital payments at the point of sale and digital payments online. Now, the reason why this is so is that European Bank did not agree until now on ways to provide their services to the entire euro area. They don't have what is called in technical terms a rail, the infrastructure to provide, to offer their digital payment services to all European citizens. One of the main benefits, advantages for banks, there are many benefits for consumers, there are benefits for the stability of the financial system. One of the main benefits for the banks in the euro area is that once the digital euro infrastructure will be built, they will be able, by using this so-called open standard infrastructure, to use that rail and compete at European level, thus generating additional business, additional revenues. And there will be many implications in terms of sovereignty for the euro area, in terms of control of the information that travels with your payments. This is the first part of my comment. The second, the costs. Now, there are estimates on the cost of adoption, because the construction of the digital euro will be paid by the euro system. Okay? The cost, I don't know if the estimates which are available are correct, discussed numbers of about 6 billion euros for 4 years. Now, if you think that we have 2,000 banks in the euro area for 4 years, this means that the cost of adoption is a few €100,000 per year per bank. Now, even forgetting the benefits I just mentioned, then the costs of adoption are not so high. They represent overall about 3% of total yearly IT costs for the banks. So then who will pay those costs? Well, it depends on the competition on the payment market. If the digital euro will be introduced, competition will be higher and the banks will not be able to transfer those costs to consumers. So we'll be limited, there will be additional revenues, and then the costs will be allocated depending on competition, and competition will improve.
And now a question for Eric Albert of Le Monde.
Who, by the way, for those of you who don't know, has been one of the architects of this project, and I pay tribute to him.
Eric Albert of Le Monde.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Transmission of monetary policy is usually 6-9 months, something like that. Your last cut was roughly 4 months ago, and yet monetary condition did tighten a little bit. Are you worried that transmission is hindered somehow, and therefore you're maybe not in such a good place? Or can you just describe what do you think of the transmission? And I just wanted to come back on growth and uncertainty. There's been a few good news, but does it really justify the kind of positive comments you've made about prospect for growth?
It's always more fashionable to make negative comments whenever you have good news. That I understand. But when we have some good news, we have to also acknowledge and draw the consequences and see what impact it has. Because as I said repeatedly, and as we are determined, we are driven by data. We take into account all data, and we measure the impact that it has in terms of outlook, underlying inflation. And I come to you, the first part of your question, because as you know, we maintain this three-pronged approach that we have had to take into account inflation outlook, underlying inflation, and transmission of monetary policy. And I would add to that, since our strategy review, in addition to pure inflation outlook and the identification of our baseline, we also try to identify and measure risks to the baseline, risk to the upside, risk to the downside, and we use different tools in order to do so, including scenario analysis. Everything that we see in terms of transmission leads us to believe that transmission is effective, is very much on time, and the numbers that we see in terms of interest rates charged to corporates, interest rates charged to mortgages, lead us to believe that that transmission is not impaired at all, but is functioning well. We have seen two things in the bank lending survey, two things. One is that there has been a slight tightening of the credit terms by the banks, which was unexpected, and that is, in our view and on the basis of their response to our survey, caused by the more attentive measurement of risk of their customers, particularly in the corporate sector. And the second, which is twofold, but it's in relation to households, that interest rate has not budged. It stays at 3.3%. And on the other hand, the volume of loan to households has itself increased. But again, we observe on the part of the banks, based on the bank lending surveys, a more cautious attitude probably in order to better measure the risks that they have. Thank you.
Next question. Sorry, next question goes to Francesco Ninfole of Milano Finanza. Francesco, please.
Thank you. My first question is for President Lagarde. Could you elaborate a little bit more about the discussion in the Governing Council about inflation risks? Because in recent days, some members seemed more concerned about upside risk and other members seem more concerned about downside risk. So what are the positions now? My second question is for Governor Panetta. What is your assessment on the Italian economy and public finances after the GDP data this morning that showed a stagnation in the third quarter? Thank you.
So on our Governing Council discussion concerning risk to inflation, I'm happy to say that we discuss actively, very courteously, in a very friendly manner, and there are different positions and different views and different analysis. And it's often related to where you stand and your perception. So you have a distinction between those who have a more upbeat view and those who have a more downbeat view. You may categorize them as the hawks and the doves, and those categories do exist. But I'm happy to say that on the occasion of this meeting in Firenze, there was absolute unanimity on the part of all members of the Governing Council to arrive at the decision that I have mentioned earlier. Now, let me mention a few elements that we discussed or that we are attentive to. One risk that we have not yet seen materialize and could be a risk to the upside, so we will continue to be attentive to that, is the risk that would result from potential bottlenecks and disruption in the supply chain. We are still to understand exactly what the outcome of the discussions between the US authorities and the Chinese authorities will deliver in terms of rare earth in particular, which is, as you know, a very material segment of the supply chains in quite a few sectors, including the automotive sector, but the energy sector as well. It's not a big amount in terms of actual value, but it's critical at the juncture where it is situated in the production chain. But that risk has not yet materialized. So we shall see We are in this sort of wait and watch or wait and see mode in relation to that specific risk. There are two other areas that we are attentive to, and that is the composition of inflation. And in that respect, the way in which the labor market evolves, the way in which wages evolve, and the impact that it will have to service inflation are elements that we are also monitoring to understand the impact that it will have going forward. I wouldn't call it a risk, so to speak. You don't find it in the risk section. But I just want to mention these two because they are ingredients that feed into service inflation, which in September has picked up by 0.1%. And they, of course, have an impact also on underlying inflation, particularly domestic. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Well, the numbers which we got today on GDP was flat, are largely expected, and they do not materially change our projections, the projections we have just published. In order to have a better assessment, we need more information on the composition, because the composition matters. Was the deceleration in GDP growth due to investment, consumption, inventories of foreign demand? Investment and foreign demand have performed very well in the past, so it is important to understand what is the source. But I think we should broaden the horizon and look at the conditions of the Italian economy from a broader perspective. In recent years, the Italian economy continued to grow, although at a moderate pace in spite of a number of shocks that have hit the Italian, like many other economies, the Italian economy and others. The geopolitical tensions, the tightening cycle of the ECB, tariffs, appreciation of the euro, the weakening of the traditional export markets of Italy, the weakening of the German economy is a big headwind for the Italian economy. But overall, the economy has been much more resilient than many would have predicted only 2-3 years ago. And I think we should look at the structural underlying conditions of the Italian economy, which have improved significantly. If you look at public finance, the deficit shot up to above 9% during the pandemic crisis. Now it is at 3%. In 2025, we will go even lower than that. The primary deficit became a primary surplus of 0.9 percentage points of GDP. The debt-to-GDP ratio, which increased significantly during the pandemic phase, now is back to the pre-pandemic level. And what went largely unnoticed in recent years is the change which took place in Italy's net financial international position. We had a current account deficit. We have now a persistent surplus of the balance of payments. And if only 10 years ago, the net financial international position of Italy was negative for more than 20 percentage points of GDP, today we have a positive net international financial position. So from minus 20+% to around 8-9 percentage points of GDP. And this happened, a very rare case, without a crisis, without a forced restructuring due to an enormous shock, which then evolves into a crisis. So this has gone largely unnoticed, but just to emphasize this concept, now Italy is a net creditor country. Every year we give some of our savings, unfortunately, to foreign countries, and our position is positive vis-à-vis the rest of the world.
Turning to our online participants, I'd like to give the floor to Olaf Storbeck of the Financial Times. Olaf, please.
Yes, hello, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, and apologies, I can't be in magnificent Florence today. I have one question, President Lagarde, on something you said earlier in this press conference. This line that the ECB will do whatever is needed to stay in a good place. I think this is new, if I'm not completely mistaken. If you've said it, probably not the gist, but you haven't said it like that previously. And I wonder, I think you said it twice already. What do you have in mind? Why do you think it's necessary to make this point now? And what shall we learn from this? The second question refers to the European emissions trading system, which the next stage is supposed to be phased in 2027. And I think the ECB expects an uptick of, or kind of a one-off effect of 0.3 percentage point on the inflation forecast. There are talks about potential delays. How do you see this from a monetary policy point of view? Could this justify or force you to do a rate cut if it's delayed, and then you end up with a significant undershooting of 2027 inflation?
Well, thank you so much for asking these two questions, and thank you for helping me to clarify what I mean. I did not repeat that sentence on purpose or to convey any particular message. If you read carefully our statement, which I know you do, you will see that in the second paragraph of our monetary policy statement, we say, we are determined to ensure that inflation stabilizes at our 2% target in the medium term. So this is all there is to be read about it, and it's a determination of the Governing Council. We continue to be in a good place, and we are determined to ensure that inflation stabilizes at that 2% medium-term target, which is the result of our strategy review. There's nothing else or nothing more to read about me having repeated two sentences. You know, I think you should not overread. Now, more technical, your second question. So ETS2, first of all, has been in our projection since it was on the table and has been in there since 2024. I don't think I would read too much, again, into an expected delay of the implementation of ETS2. And when I speak to colleagues at the European Commission, they are still strongly of the view that ETS2, which is committed, must proceed, and the deadline for implementation is still 2027. What, on the other hand, is being discussed and has been put on the table by Commissioner Opka is, how would I put it, a slight smoothing in the implementation of ETS2, which means that the impact might be spread a little bit more over time, possibly a bit less in 2027 and a bit more in 2028. So overall, as with many other data, we will be attentive, and the December projection exercise will certainly take that into account, that smoothing over a slightly longer period in order to make sure that ETS2, which is so important for climate change purposes, will actually be implemented. Thank you.
The last question goes to Domenico Conti of ANSA. Domenico, please.
We're gonna unpack all this, guys. This is scary stuff.
Madame Lagarde, good morning. My question goes back to money and payments, basically. We in Europe are in an environment in which public money, as you said, and public cash, actually digital cash, is going to be a key feature of the future of payments. In the United States, at the same time, we are witnessing a strong push towards stable coins, towards crypto, and actually what is a ban on central bank digital money.
Yes.
So it is paramount, as I understand, that we at some point reach an agreement, that there is some kind of harmonization at the global level. Now, since you're back from the IMF meetings in Washington, my question is, at what stage is this process, at what stage are negotiations towards some kind of coordination with the US administration? Thank you.
First of all, I would like to insist on the fact that we at the ECB in the Eurosystem are very attentive to innovation, and we are very supportive of innovation. The digital euro, the different options that we're exploring, the way in which we reach out to both suppliers, merchants, banks, which stand to benefit from this system, is a clear indication that we want innovation into money and into this public good for which we are responsible. So for those who would like to argue that we are trying to stifle innovation, terribly sorry, but no, this is you're knocking at the wrong door. Innovation is definitely part of us and part of the DNA of central bankers in Europe. Second, we are also attentive to the regulatory framework in which private forms of money, certain financial instruments that I would not call currencies, and I'm here referring to cryptos, equivalent of currencies as they present themselves, but which are private form of money, such as stable coins, are launched, are reserved against, are made secure, and that was under the MiCAR, which was the European regulation that was issued in order to establish the protection of consumers, enough financial stability, and rules by which some of those issuers were supervised. I observe, by the way, that in spite of the executive decision that was made back in January, the Genius Act, which was issued by Congress in the United States, is also attempting to put together a framework which has a lot of overlap with MiCAR. There are some discrepancies, and there are areas for which we have to be attentive not to create financial stability risk or arbitrage risks that would be detrimental to Europe. This is our job, and we will continue to do that job and to have a dialogue with the Commission, which is in charge of establishing the rules of the game, if you will. But as I said earlier, what we are doing, putting money as a public good on the map and making sure that the anchor is alive and digital as well as cash, is our duty. But it does not stop private issuers to do what they think is their business. They're into market share. They're into penetration of certain spheres of either payment or transactions. But our job is to secure the anchor. Our job is to secure the settlement functions. And we are going to continue doing that, notwithstanding initiatives that some of those issuers will take. And it certainly does not preclude European-based issuance that would be in compliance with the regulatory framework that we have. So it's a vibrant domain, but one where we have to make sure that we do not expose our compatriots or our economy to financial instability risk that would certainly be a recurrence of what we observed back in 1890 in the United States, for instance.
That concludes our press conference. The next press conference is on 18 December in Frankfurt. And up until then, all the best.
Enjoy Firenze.
Terrific, terrific. Wonderful. All right, guys. Well, that was a shit show. Wow. My big takeaway from this was they're going to roll out central bank digital currencies in 2029 with a test pilot program coming, I guess, maybe next year, but it could actually start really in 2027. That's going to be, of course, the CBDC that the European Bank is going to be putting on Europe. Andy says, no Spencer combo. I'll never get a word in. Yeah, it's probably true. Probably true. But that's terrifying. That's terrifying. Of course, they're still going ahead with that. Crippling, I guess, any hope for freedom in Europe. All right, let's move on. What else we got today, guys? Let's go through crypto news. I've been neglecting it all afternoon, or all morning, I guess. We're 40 minutes late now because of Christine Lagarde. But yeah, Bitcoin's still holding 108,300. I did kind of show you guys some of the metrics while we were in that meeting, some of the things that were happening. The tumble on the crypto market cap, 3.64 trillion. Hasn't changed too much this morning, but that's still the low we're still dealing with. We do have crypto bubbles all over the place, still coming down on the day. Why are we doing this little there we go. Yeah, so we're down now about 5% still from the market open. I was showing you guys this too. I don't know if you guys saw it. Bitcoin dominance getting closer to that 60% target, but also to another new record, guys, on Bitcoin on exchanges. The amount on exchanges now are getting lower and lower by the day, and record setting amounts for the year. 2.14 million is now the new low we have as of today. So don't fade Bitcoin. Make sure you have some Bitcoin. Make sure you're protecting yourself, your family, your loved ones. This is it. This is all that's left. It's ridiculous, guys. There's like 3 million Bitcoin on exchanges at the beginning of the year. Now there's like less, or getting close to 2 million remaining, and that's it. This is not all you can buy. This is again what's sitting in the balance sheets. This is what's being traded right now on exchanges. This is everything, right? This is everything according to CoinGlass. All right, and again, it doesn't matter about the amount of exchanges. Bitcoin price is still not being appreciated or depreciated. It's just being removed from exchanges. With other countries like Germany and France also announcing their plans to buy more Bitcoin and start a Bitcoin reserve, I think there's going to be a huge gold rush into next year, especially when we start to get our shit together here in the United States. We'll see. We'll see how this all plays out. It's going to be nuts. But again, I just have to show that because I did notice it's a new low this morning. That's my alarm. I'm behind, guys. I'm behind. Let's get into some crypto news now. Let's do it. All right, Cointelegraph. Let's start there. We're sitting at Standard Chartered sees 2 trillion in tokenized real-world assets by 2028, matching stable coins. Bitcoin volume passes 300 billion in October as traders show healthy pivot. Who is Michael Selig? I don't know. I'm not feeling any of these articles, honestly. The headlines. Over here, can ChatGPT really predict the next crypto market crash? I don't know. I don't trust the AI predictions at all. I really don't, especially what we saw with the last 2 big Grok ones. Yeah, I think it's all BS. The markets are going to manipulate whatever they're going to manipulate. They have, of course, the power. The money makers do. Let's take a look and see what we have here. Daily Hodl. Bank scammers, more and more scams, big money. Trump Media and Technology Group to launch new prediction market. We've been talking about that all week. This is 2 or 3 days old now. Come on, Daily Hodl. Come on.
What are you, stupid?
Give me something more real. Billionaire Ray Dalio warns traders are facing a lot of risk and a bubble indicator elevated amid a rate cut curveball. I feel like we can probably get into this one. I do like Ray Dalio and all the doom he brings. Let's go. All right, billionaire Ray Dalio just issued a new warning to traders. An interview with CNBC, Dalio's proprietary indicator for the spotting the market bubble is now flashing. There's a lot of bubble stuff going on. I have a bubble indicator which is comprised of things that would take a long time to explain, and the bubble indicator is relatively high. It has a lot to do with, not only to do with pricing, but also to do with who owns it, how the financing is taking place, and so on, or not taking place. Financing. So as far as the bubble they break, Dalio says they typically burst under tight monetary policy, but current conditions favor easing rates amid a weakening economy. That means the bubble may continue to inflate, at least for now. That's exactly what Robert Kiyosaki's been talking about too. About we just haven't had the time to pop this bubble. I don't know if we're going to see that until maybe the end of next year or maybe the middle of next year. But it does seem like we are going into quantitative easing, and the bubble can't pop if we're, of course, getting more of that cheaper money. If you're looking for a lot of the economy, you see a weakening in that economy. At the same time, there's a bubble going on or at developing. So monetary policy for both is not going to work because of that element of divergence. So I think it's probably going to be to produce more of a bubble. Dalio draws historical parallels, likening it to the 1998, 1999, or 1927, 28, before major crashes. That's of course referring to the dot-com bubble and the Great Depression. We certainly have say that whether or not it's a bubble is that the bubble is going to burst. Maybe we don't know exactly, but we can say that it's going to be a lot of risk. Yeah, and that's current statements from Ray Dalio. All right. Billionaire Paul Tudor Jones says that imminent explosive stock market breakout likely warns traders must prepare for swift exit. Again, it's getting more bearish as we go. These are all going into old news yesterday. Headlines. Okay. So it's going to be hard to, I'm telling you guys, today's news is going to be rough. It's going to be rough. I do like that we're oversold, though. And this is exactly what I wanted us to be at. I wanted us to be oversold before we go through to tonight, guys, midnight. Around midnight tonight, we're going to be, of course, options expiring for Bitcoin. Then we have the monthly rollover for crypto, a monthly close tomorrow. So us being at oversold, I feel like we're going to probably maintain some of these key levels, maybe with a rally going into November if we get an inkling of good news. I don't know, man. Bobbin jumping in with Emperor Otaku. Yes, Supreme Commander Otaku. I'm just like playing on the Doom today, guys. I'm also also kind of in Halloween spirit. Ramona, yes, don't forget to hit the like, guys. Don't forget to hit the likes, guys. I appreciate it, Ramona. Thanks again for the shout out. Andy says no Spencer combo. Never get a word in. I would love to see the old man's bicker, though. It would be a lot of fun on the live stream. Nevillearn says, what happened with Polymath? Can't find it on Coinbase. Polymath, really? Oh, that's an oldie but a goodie. I remember investing into that in 2021, 2022, something like that. Let me see what's going on. Maybe got delisted. I don't know. That's a security play, isn't it? Polymath. It's been a long time. A long time. I haven't heard that name in a long time. Quoting, of course, the great Alec Guinness. Obi-Wan. Ben Kenobi. Okay. So yeah, it's still here. So it's still listed on Coinbase. I don't see it. He might have got delisted, my man. I mean, those happen. Those things do happen. It's not listed on Coinbase anymore. Weird. That's weird. I remember buying it on Coinbase back in 21, 22. Yeah, so I guess that got deleted. Let's see what else we have here. Yes, Emperor Otaku. All right. Let's see what other news or outlets we have. Let's take a look at TradFi real quick. Hopefully we're done with Meta. All morning it's been Meta. Then we had Christine Lagarde talking about, of course, their extreme control they're going to have in the European sector. Roblox. Roblox falls on Q3 results. Okay, good for Roblox. And then, not good for Roblox. Q3 here says Bovino warns about level of violence in Chicago. Yeah, I'm worried. I'm worried about it, especially coming into tomorrow or into next week.
Governor Pritzker, who call us barbarians, Nazis, and many other things.
Oh boy. What? What?
What are you, stupid?
Oh, jeez. Maybe I should take the helmet off after that. Oh, Jesus. That's crazy, guys. What the hell are we doing today? All right, let's get back into crypto news. There's nothing worthy of watching TradFi this morning. Let's take a look at CoinDesk real quick. UFC endorsed fight token sale raises 183 million, exceeding a 1.5 million dollar target by a lot, by almost 100x or more than 100x. Market stumbles on Fed chair caution. Option expiry looms. Yes, options expiry looms tomorrow, guys. Exactly tonight at midnight. I don't know if we're gonna stay up again. I'm exhausted, guys. Oh my god. I don't even know, like 12 hours of YouTube yesterday. Okay, DeFi set the challenge. Consensus plans public debut. Yeah, we are in a drought for news today. Ondo taps Chainlink to power data feeds for 100 plus tokenized equities. I guess that's good, of course, for Chainlink on Ondo. ICP slides. Bernstein sees 75% upsides for Ethereum Treasury. UFC endorsed fight token. I wonder if I could probably find it on CoinGlass. Let me just look up Ethereum amount on exchanges. Let's see if we can follow the other side of that treasury play. Of course, I show you guys the Bitcoin one all the time. All right, Crypto Quant here. Exchange reserves, all exchanges for Ethereum. The amount of tokens on exchanges. Where are we at? Give me just does ETH have a max supply? Does CoinGlass not have a chart for that? They should. Ethereum overview, price performance, Bitcoin balances. I'm not finding the damn thing. Bitcoin balance, Bitcoin balance. It's all Bitcoin balances. Yeah, I guess we're not going to get that for Ethereum. Exchange balance list. Okay. I thought I could just change the asset on CoinGlass. I thought I could. Yeah, I can right here. Ethereum. All right. So this is what we have on Ethereum right here. Looks like 3,885,000 Ethereum on Binance. Surprisingly, Coinbase does not have the largest amount like it does at Bitcoin. And this is the amount of exchanges for Ethereum. Yeah, even with today, still record lows for the year, just like Bitcoin. Actually, no, this is still Bitcoin. Damn it! Damn it! We do not have a chart. Yeah, we could put that on a chart as well. Okay. I don't do this a lot. Okay. Yes, and it's still record lows for Ethereum on exchanges too. Yeah. That's what I thought. So yeah, while everyone's freaking out, losing their minds, if I can zoom in here so you can see this. We're still sitting at record lows for the amount of Ethereum on exchanges, Bitcoin on exchanges, of course. Everyone's lettuce hands, paper money, right? The silly paper stuff we burn every single night. This silly nonsense. Yeah, those weak lettuce hands all selling for nothing. And of course, while the big companies, institutions gobble it all up. Nothing new. I'm gonna probably save this one. We probably should go over Ethereum now. It's a problem. You would think that we're running out of all these assets on exchanges over time, that we would just, force a bull run in altcoin season. Especially with Ethereum. My God, there's only 12 million Ethereum on exchanges right now, from a high of 2024, about December 2024. It's only 4 million sold off. Less than that. Oh, yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe I'll keep it on there. I don't know. Maybe not. All right, what else we got? Running out of ideas today, guys. Running out of ideas. Doom scrolling. We always find news over in Doom scrolling. Let's go, of course, the real news outlet over on X. Guys, if you haven't already hit the like button, please don't forget to like and subscribe. We're trying to, of course, continue growing our channel so we can hand out more wrenches, and we're doing giveaways next month. I am going to be in Florida next month too, so it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. I'm glad that I kind of made that trip, because it looks like we might be at a bit of a lull for the rest of the year if it goes down this way. Okay, let's get back into just random stuff today. If you guys didn't catch last night's live stream, there were some big announcements. Zbeck, yeah, I guess getting an IPO soon. Publicly traded listing. Right now it's just for accredited investors. Samson Mao, of course, saying the world does not understand Bitcoin. We're so early. Yeah, we got Michael Saylor coming out for an earnings call. What's this here? Worth keeping an eye on. This is a Tom Lee, basically showing the lagging indicator for Bitcoin against gold. Yes, of course, that's Tom Lee. Yes, I did not misspoke. Of course, Tom Lee's still very bullish on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Yeah, so again, those are probably the big takeaways we had yesterday. We also have JP Morgan, accepting Bitcoin payments and partnering up with Coinbase and everything else. We talked about that this week. Then we have France, right? France acquisition of 420,000 Bitcoin over the 7 to 8 years. That's going through legislation right now. Again, that's a pipe dream. Good luck trying to get the 420,000 for your country when everyone else is trying to do the same thing. Mt. Gox still delayed their Bitcoin payments. Yeah, more people posting videos of paying with Bitcoin at Steak and Shake. Scott Besson says talk to China concluded for Saturday. Very constructive, of course, learning from last week. All right, let's do some unfiltered doom scrolling today. Breaking: President Trump exposes stock market hints at cracking down on short sellers during a speech in South Korea, which recently banned short selling to probe illegal naked shorting trades. Trump hinted at major market reforms in the United States. Take a look.
The stock market would go up. When you announced good news, the stock market went up. You announced good news, the stock market would go up. Now when you announce good news, the stock market goes down because people say, oh, that's terrible. You're doing well, that's terrible. Interest rates will go up. So they think because of that, interest rates will go up because that. It's inverse to what it should be. We're going to go back to the way it used to be. When we announce good news, the stock markets are going to go up. You know, in the old days, when you...
Okay. In Trump-like fashion, of course, very simple. When we used to announce, good news, the stock market would go up. Well, now all these shorts are, they're stopped. We're gonna stop it. We're gonna stop the naked shorts. Okay. All right. Okay, we're giving away Simply Bitcoin swag over at Bitcoin. Simply Bitcoin. Okay. Bitcoin battle begins. Of course, Michael Saylor prepping everyone for war. Jeez. Okay, we got Grok Imagine. Elon Musk, of course. Touting Grok Imagine.
Do you copy?
What else we have here? Oh wow, Larry Fink. This looks like a new one, actually.
I would say the biggest question from central banks is what is the role of tokenization and digitization? How quickly should they think about digitizing their own currency? What does that mean for the role of the dollar? If every currency digitizes and we have what does that mean for bank payments? What does that mean for the payment companies like MasterCard and Visa? All these are being questioned right now. I think we spend so much time talking about AI. We're not spending enough time talking about how quickly we're going to tokenize every financial asset and the opportunity we're going to have a digital wallet and moving ETFs and other things through a digital wallet. And I think that's going to happen worldwide very rapidly. And I think most countries are ill-prepared for that and underappreciate how technology is changing that, not unlike how technology is changing AI and other things. It will be changing the technology around the plumbing of finance.
Of course, Larry Fink out there, doing his thing, as always. We are going to, of course, tokenize everything. That's always what he says. Oh, God. It's so freaky, having these freaking memes, guys. You guys didn't catch last night's live stream? Yep, so that is the new X1 from, what was the company? I forget already. Neo from X1, yeah. Neo from X1, 1X, I forget. And so, yeah, it's going to be the $20,000 robot that's coming soon to your home near you. Creepy, very creepy. The memes are going viral. Just in Brazil, central bank to discuss adding Bitcoin to their reserves next month. Largest economy in South America. Yes, coming for the gold. And that's, of course, digital gold, that is. Bitcoin. The Jetson 1 personal air vehicle. Price, $128,000. Yep, this is not the first time we've seen these personalized flying vehicles. As far back as 2010. 2010, we had like the Molar. If you guys ever seen the Molar. It wasn't like that chintzy though, and it was probably cheaper back in 2010 too. The Molar was impressive, man. Every time I think back to that, like, we really missed it. We really missed it. Flying car. That was back when NASA was talking about doing the highway in the sky. That never happened. Sad stuff, of course. Preventing us from getting our true dystopian future. So that was the Molar. That's old. That's, again, like 15 years old now. All right, moving on. What else we have here? Every empire dies following the same pattern: military overreach, reckless spending, currency debasement, inflation, lost trust into collapse. Carl B. Munger, of course, touting the end of the US dollar. Each time rulers thought that this time was different, and they were wrong every single time. Prepare accordingly for the crash of an empire. That's the United States right there. All right. Okay. Historical, of course, currency value decline trajectories. We're about a little over 100 years old now. Roman Empire was the longest lasting, empire, right? So 400 years plus. for the Roman Empire, as long as they yeah, and until they started, of course, debasing their own currency with changing the amount of gold in each coin or whatever. That's pretty much what started that, and that's why you could tell what was gold, what was not, just by the sound it made, all that stuff. Anyway, that same thing is coming to the dollar, of course. Just in Nordic Bank, Nordea, to offer Bitcoin ETFs coming starting December. Nordea previously banned all employees from owning Bitcoin in June. This June? Like, damn, that's a big 180. Holy hell!
I'd buy that for $1.
Heck yeah. Just in, Binance founder CZ to file defamation lawsuit against Elizabeth Warren. I'll get behind this.
Stupid?
Hell yeah. Geez, not a big fan of Binance, of course, but you know, CZ kind of parted ways. He might be going back, but either way, anyone to take down Elizabeth Warren is a friend of mine. Okay, the future of cinema is going to be insane. Yes, it's going to be insane. We're going to have smell-o-vision. We're going to have, yeah, 3 wraparound. Apparently, that might be, I don't know, that might be the ball over in Vegas. I don't know what this is. Playing the Matrix, that's insane. Okay, yeah, just in 648 billion euros. Nordea to allow customers to trade Bitcoin linked ETP on the platform. We already covered that. Samsung just enabled Ethereum staking on Galaxy devices. 200+ million people now have direct one-tap access to Ethereum yield. Staking is becoming a standard phone feature now on Samsung. Also, don't forget, Coinbase also partnered with Samsung this month, and yeah, they're going to be offering Coinbase Plus to every Samsung owner. I think it's happening by the end of the year, or maybe next month. I forget. December? I forget when they're rolling that out. Mario Nafal says Trump and Xi approved deal making. It still works when both sides want a win. 90 minutes inside a gray building on the military base, 2 handshakes, 1 framework, de-escalates the most dangerous economic standoff since 2019. Yeah, we of course went at great length about that this morning, and the details of that, mostly it's a stalemate. We don't have TikTok deal. Tariffs are still there. They're gonna kind of just put off some of the export I guess fees at the docks for a few months, and we're gonna have them purchasing soybeans, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, what else do we have here? We are nowhere near the top. Yes, 100%. We're nowhere near the top. We've basically been in an extended bear market, in my opinion. It's ridiculous. Yeah, we have seen nothing. We have seen nothing yet. Yes, McDonald's, of course, partnering up with Street Fighter. If you guys didn't see this. Hadouken burgers. Street Fighter coming your way. Geez, ridiculous. McDonald's, of course, partnering up with Street Fighter in Japan. We never have these fun partnerships like Japan does. Yes. All right. The culture is awesome over there. President Trump says, unfortunately, in recent years, the U.S. government sold 10,000s of Bitcoins, and that would be worth billions of dollars. This is old. He said that. My God, 6 months ago, 7 months ago. U.S. prosecutors pushed back against crypto policy arguments in a $25 million MEV bot trial, arguing digital assets policy should go through Congress, not courts. Could this set the precedent for crypto cases? I don't know. Hopefully. I don't know, we'll get this shit resolved. Zbeck, more Zbeck news here after listening to Today in Space. Some Zbeck branches out. It's 22 hours ago from payroll, streaming its remittances. It could be a massive expansion move, and here's what it could be expected: massive market expansion. The global remittance market exceeds $800 billion annually with high fees. By using Zbeck's streaming on-chain settlement technology, remittances could become instant, low-cost, and borderless, appealing to millions of migrant workers. If you guys didn't catch this, I don't want to read this giant wall of text here. If you guys didn't catch the partnership that was announced yesterday, it was insane. MasterCard partnering up with Chainlink and Ondo, was it for Zeta Hash? I think it was Zeta Hash. I forget. Not Zeta Hash. I forget the other company involved. And Zbeck was going to be involved in settling those payments for those MasterCard and Chainlink. It's insane. Fed just announced at the end of quantitative tightening, tightening your seatbelts is 20 hours ago. Pulling those green candles out. I don't know if they're loading. I don't think they're loading still. Still sitting at 108,000 for Bitcoin. If you had 20,000, which coin would you throw it all in? Asking for a friend over there. Honestly, 20 grand right now, I'd probably be buying that Sui dip, to be honest. Down to almost 10% on the day. Oh, remember when they persuaded billions of people to, re-inhale their own CO2 all day long for years? Yeah. Not good. Bitcoin white paper in Lugano, Switzerland news. And if you guys didn't catch, we showed that last week. I think it was over the weekend. We had all those light shows for Bitcoin over the weekend, Lugano. Yeah, of course, celebrating Bitcoin over there. I think they had a conference. Sailor says we sold 1.5 billion of stock because we've been backed by $500 billion of Bitcoin. We bought back 1.5 billion of capturing $1 billion gain in the arbitrage. SoftBank is exploding their heads. This is the best business model in the world. We need a copy of this immediately. And this is old. This is, back when Bitcoin was not even 100,000 yet. Okay, James Lavish says, in 25 years of investing, I found that only big money is not made in trading, and big money is made by hodling. Yes, hodl strong, guys. Hodl strong. Diamond hands, especially in these times we're in right now. It might get worse. All right. Wearing my Boeing hat. Time to buy. Oh, God, Jim. Oh, boy. It's probably going to have like 3 more planes crash now because he did that. Thanks, Jim. Thank you. God, that's how this stuff works. Scientists just detected a series of mysterious pulses coming from 3i Atlas. More 3i Atlas showing up in my feed. That's crazy. I do have an alarm going off for Jasmine. Jasmine just lost a penny. Some other coins moving too, it looks like. These signals are broadcasting at 1420 megahertz, the cosmic hailing frequency that SETI researchers use to scan the signal. It signs for extraterrestrial life. So yeah, some of these researchers are still saying this is not natural.
Question is, what is producing that light? What is scattering sunlight? And the unusual thing about it, as soon as this was released, the comet experts said, oh yeah, now it's proven it's a comet. No, but I said, look, it's the sun facing emission that is elongated. It's not the other side. The extent of the glow backwards away from the sun is the same as sideways. You don't see any cometary tail here. Right. And in fact, we're looking at it just like a cigar along the long axis. So it should be 10 times longer.
Cigar-shaped UFO? Yeah, possibly.
Amazingly, the best image was obtained on October 2nd, 2025, when 3i Atlas came within 30 million kilometers of Mars. And it was taken by the high-rise camera on board the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, which is operated by NASA. As you remember, October 1st was the government shutdown. So October 2nd, the data was taken, but it was never released. I wrote to the principal investigator of high-rise, asked, Can I get the data? I'm a scientist. You can do the press release afterwards. I would like to see it. Right. No response. And so it's already 3 weeks.
Wow. So yeah, we're still waiting for 3i Atlas to appear. It's still behind the sun right now. So I think it's going to appear in the next few days. It's going to get close enough for us to at least get some direct eyes on it. But yeah, we're still waiting. We're still waiting for confirmation that it is not a UFO. JD Vance says he's sure it isn't sure whether UFOs and aliens are truly beings from another planet or something like that, more so supernatural, possibly angels or demons. He says he believes mysterious forces exist and no one can fully explain, calling them spiritual forces at work on Earth. Wow. So even JD Vance is
it's interesting. I wouldn't say that I do or don't believe it. I mean, I'm a big believer that there are things out there that we can't explain. And so if another person sees an alien, maybe I see an angel or a demon. So I'm a big believer that there are like spiritual forces working on the physical world that a lot of us don't see and a lot of us don't understand and a lot of us don't appreciate. But, is it aliens or is it our guardian angel, or is it aliens or is it a not so guardian force that doesn't care about us or in fact actively wishes us harm? I don't know the answer to that question. What I try to do is I try to say my prayers. I try to be as good of a person as I can be, and I try to do a good job. And hopefully that's all I need to do.
All right, so yeah, that's JD Vance, the vice president's response to that. Interesting, crazy stuff popping up in my feed today, guys. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says all the congratulations should go to President Trump. His relationship with President Xi set the tone for the meeting to build a mutual respect and understanding. President Trump is commanding respect around the world like no other leader. I can kind of agree with him. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Trump, but my God, he's been going around and, of course, doing a shit ton of stuff I have never seen a president do. Like, he just had the tour of the Middle East over the summer. Now he had the tour of Asia. I mean, he had he was in Europe, going back and forth to all these other countries as well. Remember, he was in Windsor Castle. I mean, it's insane. He's been everywhere this year. He's basically did a tour of the entire freaking planet. All right. So yeah, insane. Jack Dorsey, a BitChat becomes the second most downloaded app in Jamaica as Hurricane Melissa knocks out communications across the Caribbean. BitChat, of course, enables a peer-to-peer messaging without relying on centralized servers. It's a Bluetooth. The way it works is pretty insane. We talked about this at great length in the past. Okay, JP Morgan to launch the investment fund tokenization platform in 2026. Yes, that is still the plan. Optimus will do anything you want and cost less than a car, says Elon Musk. Yeah, it will. But what about the other robots? At scale, you should be able to buy an Optimus robot for around 20 grand to 30,000 next year. I think next year. They're rolling these out next year. And it'll be doing anything you want. Teach, babysit your kids, walk and the dog, mow your lawn, groceries, drive, serve drinks, or just be your friend. Yeah, I'm still not sure which one I want to get though. I like the Optimus a little bit more than the creepy Neo. Just because, I mean, I like the beady eyes, don't get me wrong. I just don't like the cloth. I like the panels. I like the old school sci-fi panels. I want to paint them too. It's going to be kind of hard to paint. I could dye it. I could dye the damn thing red, but it's going to be a mess. The rubbing against all my, I guess either way, if it's painted, it's going to rub against my stuff and get it. I don't know. I can clear coat the F out of it though. Okay, what else we have here? FOMC drop, new Bitcoin all-time high. Yesterday it dumped yet again. What are you gonna do when your robot gets stains? Like, you just like unzip it off and you throw it in the washer? I need to know more. I need to know more. It's like the fabric also looks kind of like the stuff that's wrapped around the speakers, right? Like a dense. Not felt. What is it? Nylon or something. Jacob Snake says to the $2 super chat. Boom. I need a robot that has Tron lights and a restraint and a restraining order. What are you talking about? And a restrain. Man. Yeah, we definitely need some more restraining bolt. Okay, yes, of course, referring to the droids from Star Wars. They're coming, guys. The robots are coming. They're coming. Interstellar object probe to see humans achieve warp potential. You know, Disney's gonna make a shit ton of money making protocol droids. You know, they're gonna probably gonna be 50 grand or something ridiculous. $20,000 over the expected price of the other robots just because they're Star Wars branded. We don't serve your kind here. Yes, that's Wuher, the waiter from. Mos Eisley Cantina. I am a huge Star Wars nerd from back in the day when Star Wars used to be good. Okay, let's get back here in the chat. I prefer dive bars and upscale bars. Jake the Snake. More fun on the extremes. Oh my god. Yeah, it's always fun to go to a dive bar and yeah, start dancing on tables and shit. Danny says they have good chicken wings and the bigger Buffalo Wild Wings. What's that? Springboro? Never heard of it. In Springboro, what are we talking about? Chicken Wing Sports Bar. I gotta scroll all the way up to find the name of this thing. You've been rooting and raving about it. Roosters. It's Roosters? I never heard of it. Okay. Getting back in the chat here. Gamma Goddess says, I'm going to be in Klein Vision flying car, drink a 7-Up, and drink a moon pie. Yes, 100%. Gamma Goddess. Oh, nice. There we go. This is where you guys are spending your money, right? The Klein car. That thing's insane. I remember seeing this. Yeah, it folds out the wings and he takes off. Yep. It's pretty cool. It's one of the first, or I guess one of the first. It's not the first, but it's definitely one of the first fully auto convertible converting into airplane. Not many of those actually fundamentally work well, but that one's pretty cool. I like the molar though. I like the vertical, like kind of like those jets. The vertical thrusters. It's a fan fic, says Jake the Snake on Disney Star Wars ain't no Star Wars. Yeah, exactly. It's a fan fiction. I laughed my ass off. I almost got kicked out at the last movie that came out. Was it the Rise of Skywalker? No. Was it? I think it was. I think it was the last movie. And when Emperor Palpatine came out and he said, unleash the chaos, or whatever the hell he says. He didn't say that, but unleash it. And all these Star Destroyers that were like fully manned Star Destroyers just come out of this planet, and there's hundreds of thousands of them, and it just looks like I just couldn't stop myself from laughing. It just I just imagined like I was a little kid playing with toys. And I was just like, and everything comes out all at once. it's so dumb. It was so dumb. Although there could be room to allow Rogue One. No, there could not be. No, Jake the Snake. They ruined my childhood. Every single thing that Disney's done is basically taken things that existed previously and just bastardized the out of it. The F out of it. So Rogue One is actually one of my favorite video games of all time, based on one of my favorite video game series of all time. That's Jedi Knight series, originally Dark Forces on the PlayStation 1 on PC, and of course that ran a long time, and they retconned everything now, right? So that followed originally Kyle Katarn, not this Cassian Ordo. They changed all these people's names too. Jan Ors was the original character. They were mercenaries. They were the ones who stole the Death Star plans. They stole the whole damn thing, and they just bastardized their names and changed the roles back and forth on who was more important in the story and whatever. Jen Erso is what they called Jan Ors' character, and she had more of a role than Kyle Katarn did. Kyle Katarn was so much better than this Cassian whatever. So dumb. It's so dumb. He became a Jedi. He ended up becoming Luke's right-hand man, training younglings, and he was the battle master of Yavin. I'm not going to go into old ancient history. But yeah, Star Wars was what's a better, brighter, shining star than it is today. That's all I'm going to say. I could go about this all night. I could literally spend all day talking about here and just shit posting on Star Wars and where we're at now. Man Bush, yeah, will your robot have a bush glued on? He probably would. The rise of Palpy balls. Some of you guys in the chat last night were also talking about whether or not the robots are going to come with boobs. I said you can add them later. They're going to be add-ons. Whatever you want your robot to look like, right? Yeah. But yeah, some of those cheaper models, they don't have any sort of facial features. I think, yeah, those are definitely going to be harder to get what you really want out of that if you're going to go that route. All right, so yeah, robots are becoming more and more accurate, and then they can carry out surgery even on an egg without breaking it. Yep, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Fed lowers rate by 25 basis points. Oh my God. That's a good one. Get the money printer going. Get the money printer going. Yes. Yeah, and we're still waiting. This is that Neobot, guys, which I definitely like the ergonomics on it. It definitely looks like it's a lot more useful. It's creepy AF though. Yes, close that dishwasher, please. Yep. Load it. Close it. Struggling there on the floor. All right. So yeah, that's of course being very viral today and yesterday. CEO Jensen Huang reacting to the audience, showing that their NVIDIA stock has performed. Wow, look at that. He got the candlelight moment with everyone's stocks on their phones. Damn. It's not a bubble, guys. It's not a bubble. $5 trillion market cap for Nvidia. Yes, that was insane yesterday. Very strong third quarter 2025 earnings season, says Tom Lee. To keep up to date, this came out 5 hours ago. Get premium service, first word. Yeah. First, of course, he's shilling his own stuff. Yeah, okay. Bank of Canada just said it out loud. Canadians must accept the lower standard of living. Oh, really? Damn.
What that means is that unless something else changes, our incomes will be lower than they otherwise would have been. They'll grow, but they'll grow along a lower. This was the old path. Now there's a new path, which is below the old path. There are things the country can do to try to bend that curve up, but those aren't things monetary policy can do. These are more structural changes. I mean, fundamentally, as a senior deputy governor is hammered many times, we need to get our productivity growth up. And if we can do that as a country, we can bend that curve up. So, I mean, I think what's most concerning is that unless we change some other things, our standard of living as a country, Canadians, is going to be lower than it otherwise would have been.
This is crazy. I cannot believe they said that out loud. Holy shit.
Are you stupid?
All right. Yep. Too late. Nope. You're still super early. Yeah, we are a blip in the overall global picture. Okay. Inflation erodes the value of fiat, and the money that buys groceries today will buy less, of course, tomorrow. Yeah, that's how this works, guys. The more the money printer continues to deflate or inflate our dollar, of course, continuing to add more monetary, or I guess a lot less monetary value to our dollar, but more money in the system, of course, less dollars are worth. Okay. Michael Saylor says Bitcoin will become the largest asset in the world in the next 48 months. He said that that was a long time ago. I'm not sure why Simple Bitcoin's still posting that. I think he said that back in like April. I don't know. Okay, yeah, these are actually really cool. What the hell is this? Okay, I don't know what the hell this is.
And I simply repeated the process for the rest of the videos.
Oh wow, I guess they're just trying you things that they shouldn't teach you. Breaking into safes. Okay, Larry Ellison has never paid taxes on his $200 billion Oracle fortune. Never sold buy, borrow, and then die. Yep, that's how this goes. When tokenized stocks integrate with DeFi, this billionaire strategy becomes available to anyone or whatever. I think that's it, guys. I think I've pretty much exhausted all the news for today. Everyone's still talking about 3i Atlas in my feed. Holy hell. Aliens are headed for Earth right now. Germany's second largest part. We'll know when it starts to deviate from its path. I think that's going to be the dead giveaway, because as of right now, it's just going to, if it continues, it's just so weird that it's not even falling into our orbit or anything. Germany's secondary largest party, AfD, introduces a motion to build a Bitcoin reserve. Yes, we've been talking about that. I think we did it. We exhausted it. We exhausted the market in terms of news. I'm gonna do one more run through TradFi just real quick. Bloomberg, see what they're talking about. Talking about Chipotle, cautious outlook. Of course, everyone's not going out to dinner. Basically, they're just not going out to dinner. I just bought a month worth of groceries. I'm sure a lot of you guys are doing the same thing, hunkering down, depending on what happens next month. Okay, let's see what else we have here on CNBC. Got cracks in the credit markets. Ooh.
I think they are reasonable relative to the risk you're taking today.
And so that's why you think that credit shines.
I do.
In part.
Well, I think there's two reasons, right? When you think about this market, I think you've got valuations in the equity market that are pricing in tremendous growth. I say you need robust growth just for stocks to stay where they are, right? And I think we're in a period where things are likely going to slow down. I don't necessarily think we go into recession, but I think things slow down. Trump could wake up tomorrow and say, I didn't mean it. No tariffs. And things would still slow down because of all the demand destruction that happened due to all this uncertainty leading into the past few quarters. And so in a period where things are going to slow down, if you can have a contractual return in credit yielding 7 to 8%, you can lock that in. I do believe that shines relative to equities where the valuations require robust growth just to keep things from trading down.
what are some of the signs that you're seeing this return already? So we're seeing some signs that starting to return, particularly on the liquid side.
Yeah, when you look at the slowdown, when we look company by company, you start looking at consumer spending trends, and you look at especially the low-end consumer and their willingness and ability to keep spending money. And you see credit card delinquencies picking up, the minimum balance on credit card, the people paying only the minimum on their credit card hitting near record highs. There's data out there that makes you cautious about this continuing to go, trees growing to the sky and everything just going up forever.
It's been a long time since we had a recession.
It has been.
Yeah.
And
Do you remember what happens to high yield bonds?
I was there. I've been doing this long enough to have been through it, and it wasn't fun. But I think right now, I believe we're heading into a credit pickers market. I don't necessarily think we go into deep recession because, frankly, we've been preparing for a recession for 3 years now. It's all people want to talk about: hard landing, soft landing, no landing. And so companies have been preparing. And so I think the core high yield credit, the core loan credit below investment grade actually is in a pretty good spot with low leverage, good flexibility, good cushion and liquidity. But I do think if we do hit into recession or even just a slowdown, the ability to pick good credits is going to matter.
Right. All right. Well, we did have this brief moment where we were talking about First Brands and Tricolor for a few days, and then Jamie Dimon and his cockroach comments. Any real concerns on your part? Is that sort of did that present an opportunity as opposed to real risk?
It's always an opportunity, but I like to answer two ways, which is when people say, is First Brands a contagion? I say, well, there's fraud involved. And when you have fraud in a company, I don't think it's fair to assume there's fraud everywhere. And so I don't believe that is contagion. However, I do think it shows that underwriting standards are starting to slip. And people have raised a lot of money in credit, both public and private. And one of the many things I've learned from Howard Marks, when you raise a lot of money really fast, you buy what you can, not what you want to, because deploying that capital becomes a chore. And so I do think you're going to start seeing more and more things pop up where it's pretty clear maybe people didn't quite dig deep enough before they made that investment. And that's why I call this a credit picker's market.
Right. Hence the reason why people should invest with you.
Exactly. You said it. I agree.
Exactly. It's partially why you come on. Listen, David, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
David Rosenberg. Coming up, shares of obesity biotech firm Metsera are surging today. Why? Well, nobody.
So that might be all we get. Let's see if one last check-in on Fox Business News. VA Dems look to win back Latino voters. Okay, it's pretty much useless for us here on the channel. All right, yeah. Southside Playa in the chat says it's over. It's over. That's it. Sell everything, guys. It's over. Again, not financial advice. Bitcoin still has not broken 107.5. We're still waiting for that retest down here at the bottom of the channel. Basically holding in. I guess the lowest you could possibly get this going today would be 106.8, and I welcome this. I welcome this into, of course, the monthly close. The more oversold we are, the more room we have for upside at the beginning of next month. Again, don't forget today's options expire for Bitcoin, and the monthly close is tomorrow. So don't forget. Yeah, we have that coming in tonight at midnight. What else we have here in the chat? The clip says, the more fun I hear, the more bullish I get. I'm training you, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, same here. Same here. We're going to win, guys.
We're going to win so much, you may...
Just in an unorthodox kind of way. Okay, yes. My robot has stains, says Cliff. I missed that one, too. Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of with those Neo bots. I need someone has to ask that question. I can't be the only one thinking that. Like, it's working in the kitchen all the time. It's gonna get stained by I make a lot of soup, so damn it, don't quit getting soup all over yourself. There's gonna be all these crazy robot videos on YouTube. All right, guys. So yeah, this is what we're waiting for. We're waiting for this bigger breakdown here. We keep retesting some of these targets, these lower ranges here that test our patience. Also testing, of course, the bull trend that's even left here since the 17th. So 2 weeks. So we've been kind of having this pullback, and now we finally got retest of this channel. And so we've had this channel up here, and I told you guys even when we broke out before Powell, I said there's a possibility we're going to come back down here after Powell speaks, and here we are. We're back in the channel. We held the middle of it yesterday. We lost it this morning. Of course, in the early morning, if you guys were here last night with us with President Xi, that meeting basically tanked after we left. So about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, we tanked. That is, of course, the foreign markets tanking the market. And it's been kind of a spiral since. Assets right now, anything big moving? Looks like gold is down to 4,000 an ounce still. Silver still down to 48. A little bit looked like maybe a rise here coming. Inverted head and shoulder pattern pretty clear there on silver. Could be coming for a breakout soon. What about gold? Yeah, it does not look like the same thing on gold though. It's kind of weird. Yeah, we did look at this one the other day and found the bottom. That was last week. Before we dumped to 4,000. But yeah, anything else? I think that's pretty much it. I think that's pretty much your market update for today. I'm gonna go get some stuff done, do some errands, get ready for Halloween, guys. So we're almost there, almost there. Gamaga says Banker Coin has been doing well. Banker Coin, never heard of her. Take a look at that real quick for Gamma before we head out on Banker Coin. What's the ticker? BANKR or something? Yep, BAKR. Wow. Get right out the gate. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. Coinbase. CoinMarketCap. Trading at 306 right now. Let's take a look real quick and do a health check on this. Market cap is $57 million. Not too shabby. Max supply is 100 billion. Banker token supply is totally out allocated, apparently, which is a good thing to see. Let's hear about more about this project to find out more. It is on Ethereum. I'm assuming it's on Ethereum. No, it's on Ethereum. It's on Base. Okay, so let's see what's going on. Banker is an advanced AI agent focused on simplifying the process of buying and selling digital assets. Banker was the first AI agent on Farcaster to help you quickly buy all your favorite coins directly in the social. Banker Coin is officially an official coin of the agent and was deployed by Banker itself directly by the Farcaster social feed. Fees from swaps go into to support the Banker coin. Banker is available on Farcaster and will soon be launching on a private terminal, token Rex, and a limited order on Base. And that's pretty much all we got here from this description. Where is the website? They do have a website. No, that's not their website. That's Base Scan. Website. Oh boy, I don't know how I feel about this. Okay, your friendly AI-powered crypto companion. Manage your wallet effortlessly by sending a message. Terminal banker.bot. I don't know. You guys can do with what you want. I personally probably wouldn't invest in this just by looking at the website alone. And yeah, I don't know. Okay, again. Be safe. Don't do anything stupid. It's doing okay in the last 30 days, though. It's definitely getting a lot more traction. How old is it, though? Is it pretty new? Yeah, it's pretty new. Just came out this month. So again, be safe, guys. Don't do anything stupid before the bull run.
Stupid.
Might just be time to be hodling stuff that you love, know and love, and hold dear. All right, okay, guys. I'm gonna call that. Cliff says gold rush equals sell the shovels. Robots sell the robot. And then wait, wash the skins. Oh jeez. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. I'm gonna go get some errands done. Have a great day. Yes, have a great day, you too, Joy. And yeah, we'll of course cover the markets tonight with the market open for the foreign markets for Friday. Guys, don't forget to check us out 8 p.m. Eastern, and we'll see you again soon. Have a good one, guys. Stay safe.
When will then be now? Soon.
Later.
Fly me to the moon. Let me trade among the stars. Let me see what freedom's like without money and gold bars. In other words, gold 19. Oh! In other words, let's make history. Oh! Fill my wallet with more coins and let me hodl forever more and more and more and more and more. I want more.
Oh man, what a day! What a day! I don't think there's enough. I don't think there's enough liquor in the studio. All right, guys. I'll see. Of course. Thanks again coming out, guys. The Wrench crew. I appreciate it. All the love and support in the chat. Yeah, Gamma Goddess. Thank you. Of course. I can't wait to have you on again, Gamma. Next Friday. Let's plan on it. Let's plan on it for sure. Guys, we have another Tinfoil Hat Tuesday coming on. Which I should probably get on that. I need to make a new hat for Tinfoil Hat Tuesday next week. Yes, feeling good, says Jake the Snake. Later, guys. Good day. Have a great day. And, of course, robosexuals, of course, are frowned upon in the great state of Ohio.
Oh, hail the king of Ohio!
All right. Thanks again, guys. I'll catch you tonight. Take it easy and later.